Do you love silly stories for kids? Why not consider joining our family? You can even get a very special message from one of your favourite Silly Stories for Kids characters. Head over to the website to find out more. It's your support that helps us to continue to make exciting stories and more crazy content.
Did somebody say crazy?
Oh, Pimpin, no. One day, two little boys named Eli and Gabriel were sitting out the front of their house. They were sitting looking at the flowers. They loved looking at the beautiful flowers that had bloomed. They were all kinds of really pretty ones. As they were looking, Eli noticed something. "Oh, that's a bee. Be careful, be careful," he said to his little brother. Then something very peculiar happened.
Excuse me,
said the bee. Are you talking to me?" said Eli.
Yes, we need your help, please.
"Really?" said Eli. "How am I going to help you?"
Follow me,
said the bee as it went to fly off. Excuse me, Mr. Bee."
Yes,
said the bee as it came back. I can't fly," said Eli.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. Hang on 1 second,
said the bee. He flew back down and held out his tiny little hand. On it, there was a drop of honey. "Is that for me?" said Eli. "Yes," said the bee. "Have a taste." Okay, said Eli. He dipped his finger in the tiny droplet of honey and popped it in his mouth. Whoa, that's delicious. His brother had a tiny taste as well. Said Gabriel. As they were tasting the delicious honey, Gabriel started to feel very funny. "Oh, my back's a bit itchy," he said. "I need to scratch it." He tried to reach over his shoulder to scratch his back. "Ah!" he said. "There's something growing out the middle of my back." "They're wings," said Eli. "Yes," said the bee. "And just wait for it." "Wait for what?" said Eli. He shrunk down to the size of a bee. "Whoa!" he said. I'm tiny." "Yes, now you are the size of a bee," said the bee. "Oh, okay." Gabriel shrunk down to the same size as well. "Now follow me, please," said the bee. So the boys started flying off after the bee. He flew them all the way back towards his hive. As they were flying in the door of the hive, it was one of the most incredible sights the boys had ever seen. There were bees everywhere. They were building honeycombs and they were bringing in pollen and all kinds of different jobs. "Whoa," said Gabriel. "This is incredible." "Yes," said Eli. "This is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And look at all the honey," he said as he looked towards the walls. Yum! He couldn't help himself. He flew over to where the honey was dripping off the walls and dipped his finger in the honey and had another taste. "Yuck," he said. "What's wrong with this honey?" "Exactly," said the bee. "We need your help to find out why our honey tastes so disgusting," said the bee. "Oh," said Eli. "Yes," said the bee. "Something has gone wrong." Said Eli. "I wonder what it could be." "Well, where does it start?" "Well, first we collect the pollen," he said. "All right, well, can we come see where you're collecting the pollen from?" said Eli. "Sure," said the bee. So the boys flew off with the bee and flew back out of the hive. They flew over towards... "Hey, these are our flowers." "Yes," said the bee. "We love your flowers." That's good," said Eli. "They're very pretty and very full of lots of pollen," he said. The bees all collected pollen all over their legs. Let's have a look. "Yep, all normal," said Eli. "I don't see anything wrong with the pollen. Let's head back." So the bees all flew back to the hive. When they got there, they started dropping the pollen into a giant pot. The boys looked in. Mr. Bee?" "Yes," said the bee. "Is that pot meant to have a big green liquid at the bottom?" "What?" said the bee. He flew up to the top and looked down inside the big pot. "What is going on?" said the bee. "There shouldn't be any of this green stuff." Said Eli. I wonder what it is and where it's coming from. They looked very, very carefully. Eli flew down into the giant pot to have a closer look. It's green. He dipped his finger in, and very sticky. This is gross. Where's it? A droplet fell from the roof on top of his head. Yuck, he said. He looked up. Hey, look! There's a tiny little hole in the top of the hive. I think the green stuff's dropping in through there. We better go investigate, said the bee. All right, said Eli, let's go. So Eli, Gabriel, and the bee all flew out of the pot and out of the hive to go see where this green goo was coming from. They flew outside and saw a pile of green goop on top of the hive. Where's it coming from? Said Eli. I have no ideas, said the bee. Gabriel looked closely and didn't know either. As they were watching, they saw a very lanky, long-legged and long-armed man come out with a bucket and tip it all over the beehive. Another failed recipe, said the voice. Who's that? Said Eli, as the man with long legs and long arms tipped a mixing bowl full of something on top of the beehive. Ugh, that's gross. Who is that guy? Said Eli. I have no ideas, said the bee. Well, let's go find out, said Eli. So, Eli, Gabriel, and the bee followed the long-legged and long-armed man back inside the house. As they flew in, they watched him walk back into the kitchen. Now to try again, he said. He pulled out all kinds of different ingredients out of his kitchen cupboards and was throwing them all into the bowl. He added all kinds of disgusting things. He added motor oil, and he added green food dye, and he added fish, and he added all kinds of disgusting things. What is he doing? Said the bee. I'm going to find out, said Eli. Eli flew up to where the man was and got right next to his ear. Excuse me, sir, what are you doing? Whoa! Who said that? Said the long-legged, long-armed man. Excuse me, it's me. He looked around and he couldn't see anything. The little tiny bee. Oh, said the man. What are you doing in my kitchen? He said. Well, you keep throwing gross stuff on top of the beehive and it's making the honey taste disgusting. What? Where's the beehive? Said the man. Follow me. So, Eli started flying out towards the beehive. Look, he said, as he pointed. The man looked very closely at where Eli was pointing and then realized that where he had been tipping his mixing bowls was right on top of the beehive. Oh, I'm so sorry, he said. I didn't mean to make such a disgusting mess on top of your beehive. I've been trying to make cupcakes all day, and I just can't remember how. Oh, dear, said Eli. Well, not with all those disgusting things you're putting in. What's your name, anyway? My name is Thingy Whopper, and my favourite thing in the whole entire world is cupcakes. Oh, Thingy Whopper. I think I've heard of you, said Eli. Well, let's see if we can fix your cupcake recipe. And while we're doing that, can you help us fix our beehive? Of course, said Thingy Whopper. So Thingy Whopper grabbed some cleaning things out of his house and started scraping all the green goo off the top of the beehive. While he was doing that, Eli, Gabriel, and the bee moved back into the kitchen. All right, we need a cupcake recipe. Okay, said the bee. Maybe this one? He pointed to a recipe book. They opened it up and found a recipe for cupcakes. Good work. All right, now let's follow the instructions very carefully. The three bees worked very carefully to make delicious cupcakes. When the batter was almost finished, Eli had an idea. I think we need one more thing, he said. What is that? Said the bee. Follow me, said Eli. They flew back out the door and into the beehive. Now, Mr. Bee, is there any honey that doesn't taste bad? There's this one from last week, he said. Perfect, said Eli. Eli grabbed a scoopful of honey and flew back out the beehive and into the kitchen. He tipped the scoopful of honey in the cupcake mixture. Now it's perfect, said Eli. As they were working together to try and mix it up a tiny bit more, Thingy Whopper came back in the house. Is that the cupcake recipe? He said. Yes, it is, said Eli. Now you just need to pop them in pans and cook them.
Oh, well, let me do a finger taste first, said Thingy Whopper.
He dipped his finger into the mixture and then popped it in his mouth.
Oh my goodness, said Thingy Whopper. That is the most delicious cupcakes I have ever tasted. What did you put in there? There's something special.
Well, said Eli, that's the special honey, if it doesn't have your green goop in it.
I love it. I promise to never make disgusting green goop cupcakes and tip them on your hive ever again.
Well, said the bee, if that's the case, we promise to bring honey to you every single day.
Wow, said Thingy Whopper. That's so exciting. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
He went in and put his cupcakes in the oven.
I can taste it already. Hooray, said Thingy Whopper.
All right, said Eli. I think we've fixed your problem. I think you have, said the bee. Thank you so much. You're welcome, said Eli. Always happy to help. But we better get back home.
Eli
Come on, flew all the way back to their house. How do we turn back into boys again?
Well, said the bee, all you need to do is buzz around in a circle 3 times.
So the boys buzzed around in a circle 3 times.
Then clap your wings twice.
So the boys clapped their wings. And then, as they did, they turned back into full-size boys, and their wings fell to the ground. Bye, Mr. Bee, they said, as they watched him fly away. And he was gone. As they were staring off to where the bee had left, their mum came outside. Boys, what have you been doing? She said. Well, said Eli, I don't think you'd believe me, even if I told you. And that is the end of the story.
This episode is brought to you by Buzzy Bee's Honey Cupcakes, the best cupcakes you will ever taste. We hope that you are enjoying silly stories for kids. Don't forget to share it with one of your friends. This has been me, Buzzy Bee.
And me, Sam. We'll see you soon.